Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the October 27th edition of Carolina Week, Halloween is 4 days away, but on the big night, will you be able to get to Franklin Street?
The economy continues to be in turmoil. We'll show you how the ups and downs are affecting more than just people.
In sports, we'll tell you how the hands of Hakeem Nicks put the football team back on top.
Weathercaster Dan McKimmey is here with your Carolina Week 4-day forecast.
All that and a place that makes going green simply serene.
Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to the Monday edition of Carolina Week. I'm Bethany Tuggle.
And I'm Gervais Hagerty. Thanks for joining us. Well, we begin with breaking news. Carolina Week has just learned that Demario Atwater is now under federal indictment on charges related to the shooting death of former student body president Eve Carson. Those charges include carjacking and possession of a firearm by a felon. We'll have all the details on the Wednesday edition of Carolina Week. Well, turning now to other news, could tuition be on the rise again? Many high school students come to look at UNC as a potential new home, but as they consider becoming Tar Heels, their parents have to consider the cost, and now that might become a more significant factor. Tuition is set to rise more than 4% for out-of-state students and more than 6% for in-state students next year. Lawmakers say they need the money to replace 500 retiring faculty members and add 200 more to accommodate enrollment growth. But there's something else legislators have to consider as well.
The Constitution is clear. We should be providing this education opportunity as low a cost as we can possibly do, and that is a responsibility of the legislature.
Even with recent tuition hikes, Kiplinger's magazine continues to rate Carolina as the nation's best higher education value. Student Body President J.J. Rayner and Board of Trustees member John Ellison join us now from our satellite studio.
They're leading an initiative to make UNC an even stronger institution than it is today. Thank you both for joining us. JJ, we'll start with you. How do we maintain excellence and yet grow as a student body by several thousand students?
That's an excellent question, and that's exactly why we're doing this initiative. We really hope that everyone from faculty, students to staff will give us the answer to that and what they think are the biggest priorities for us to focus on when it comes to where we spend our limited funding.
Mr. Ellison, U.S. News and World Report ranks Carolina as the nation's 5th best public university. So how do we get to number 1?
Well, I think that's a difficult question to answer, and it certainly has to do with funding. So class size, student-faculty ratios, the quality of the incoming freshman class that we're able to recruit, the quality of the graduate students that we're able to recruit, the amount of research that our faculty are able to get published, and all of those factors go into our ranking.
JJ, there are 2 items on the ranking scale, are selectivity and retention. Won't both suffer if we admit more students?
That's a really good question, and we've asked some consultants to help us with that, and the answer are that we do run a risk of lowering our yield on the highest quality students, which is why we really want to know if there are new programs that we can implement that will help attract those students to our campus and make us even more attractive and selective in the long run.
Mr. Ellison, what's the most important thing to do to maintain excellence and even improve regardless of how you measure excellence?
I think there are 2 major things that we have to focus on, and one is the recruitment of the great students in this state to get them to come to Carolina as freshmen, and the second thing we have to do is to retain our excellent faculty, and those 2 things together are the 2 most important things that will help make Carolina great.
J.J. Rayner and John Ellison begin discussions with the campus community on Thursday.
That forum is at 2 p.m. in Girard Hall. Thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you.
You don't have to wait until next Tuesday to vote, and many of you are already taking advantage of that. As of this morning, more than 10,000 people have already filed into Moorhead Planetarium on Franklin Street to participate in early voting. Voters can register on site if necessary and vote right away. In addition to the presidential race, there are several local contests on the ballot. You can opt for the easier process by voting early instead of waiting until Election Day.
People to early vote because November 4th is going to be crazy. Everybody's going out to vote. Polling locations aren't on campus, especially for students who don't have cars, don't have ways to get to the locations.
More than 1 million people have voted so far in North Carolina. You have to be registered in Orange County to vote at the planetarium, and early voting ends this Friday. Barack Obama and John McCain have their campaigns in high gear in these final days before the election, which comes during rough times. Many people wonder whether either candidate would be able to make an immediate impact on the issues facing the country, such as the economy and the need for alternative energy sources.
Well, I just think that whether or not McCain or Obama, whoever becomes the next president of the United States, I'm not sure how much they can really change the United States in a 4 or 8 year presidency.
I'm an Obama supporter, and I believe that if he gets elected, the international relations will definitely immediately change. His policies are radically different than those of Bush's.
Whether the new president's party has control of Congress will have a big impact on how effective he can be.
The UNC Department of Public Safety has finalized the plans for Halloween 2008 parking and transportation. Parking restrictions will be in effect from 7:30 a.m. on Friday through 8 a.m. on Saturday. You'll need a valid permit to park in most lots. Without it, you'll face a ticket or you'll get towed. The following are some of the main streets that will close at 8:30 p.m. on Friday: Macaulay Street from Pittsboro Street to Columbia, Cameron Avenue from Country Club Road to Pittsboro Street, and Stadium Drive from South Road to Ridge Road. The Point-to-Point Express will shuttle students on its normal route, but counterclockwise. The P2P will make extra stops near Hinton James Residence Hall and across from the Old Well. The Sisters of Chi Omega know how to get in the Halloween spirit by hosting a pumpkin patch. On Sunday afternoon, pumpkins lined the lawn in front of the house, but pumpkin picking was only half the fun. Kids enjoyed painting pumpkins, big and small. Festive face painting, it was a first in Halloween awe made for a fun-filled afternoon. The proceeds go to Make-A-Wish Foundation, and the ladies hope to raise more than $2,000. While the economy continues to fluctuate and the ups and downs are hurting more than just people.
Coming up, we'll show you how the economy is affecting local animal shelters.
Alone and crying, boom, boom, bam. Crying, pam, pam, pam. Crying, chaka, chaka, cha. Crying is always good.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Here we go.
Let's go, man.
Hello, ladies.
Can you imagine your life without animals? Here at the Durham Animal Shelter, we can't. So come see us. Your new best friend is already expecting you.
Let's give it a shot. You can do it this time. I gotta get a real dog.
Excuse me. I've been getting mixed messages about women and violence. I need a little clarification.
Uncle Bill, how am I supposed to grow up to respect women when I have such lousy role models?
Boys are never going to approach you.
Can you help me reshape my attitudes towards women?
You need to teach them that violence against women is wrong.
We looked up the word chaos in the dictionary, and the definition is exactly what's happening on Wall Street. Many economists believe we're in a recession. The S&P 500 had a 40% loss in the month of October alone, its greatest loss since 1931. And the ups and downs are affecting more than just the U.S. market. The Japanese Nikkei fell by more than 6% on Monday. its lowest to close in 26 years. Everyone is under pressure to avoid a global recession. And the bad economy is affecting even the family pet. Kissa Craig joins us now with that story.
That's right, Gervais. Officials at local shelters say that house foreclosures are forcing many families to have to downsize. And sadly, people are finding that vet bills, pet food, and pet care are too much for them, so they're giving up their pets.
Say hello to Tess. She's one of hundreds of animals who are homeless and living in a shelter. Durham animal shelter worker Tammy Pombo says the economy's downturn is leading to a dramatic rise in the number of animals in the shelter.
About 70% of our animals that do come in are surrenders because they can't afford to take care of them.
But to some, giving up their own pets just isn't an option, regardless of the tough financial times.
No, I couldn't do it, and I know it's not easy for many people who do.
I couldn't, but I'm not one of those people who think that you should give up your animal because of the economy. I mean, don't let the economy, change somebody that's part of your life.
But Pombo says she's also feeling the financial strain.
Yeah, I mean, I have 3 dogs and 4 cats. It's even hard for me to be able to afford it.
A 10% increase in the number of animals has filled the shelter to its capacity and forcing shelter workers to make hard decisions. Although the odds are stacked against them, these dogs wag their tails at visitors as if trying to send a message. A few lucky ones get adopted, but Tess and her friends spend their days playing, sleeping, and waiting.
When you rescue an animal from a shelter, you're saving that animal's life and you're making space for another animal to be able to move into that cage until it can find a home also.
It's about giving animals, like Tess and others, a second chance to find a home. And that, Woodruff says, is the shelter's main mission.
So Kissa, are local shelters doing anything to help fix this problem?
It's hard, Gervais, because the shelter takes in over 7,000 animals a year. So they're trying to get people to come in and adopt animals and provide services like spaying and neutering animals for less than $100.
Kissa Craig reporting from the studio. Thanks, Kissa.
The state fair is over and all that leftover grease might actually help the environment. Cooking oils from vendors like this one selling funnel cakes are going off-site to become fuel. Biodiesel also powered all the rides and attractions. It was the second year in a row the state has been recycling grease, but this year officials added large underground storage tanks to boost capacity. They say it's a great way to teach folks young and old about alternative fuels. What if you didn't need as much fuel to get around? Though gas is cheaper at the pump, some are turning to transportation that doesn't use it. UNC senior Kate McNamara has been riding this electric scooter to school. Students are choosing these scooters because they don't use gas, but do have some safety features cars have. McNamara lives miles downhill from university campus, so she's glad to have the scooter around.
It's been great. I get to campus in about 7 minutes and doesn't cost me anything in gas. It's completely electric. I take it in at night and charge it.
We saw prices for electric scooters ranging from $1,000 to $3,000. Well, I've always thought that it would be fun to have a scooter, but not in such cold temperatures like we're having now.
Yeah, it's kind of fluctuating. I mean, I think that would be a lot of fun, but we've got weathercaster Dan McKinney to tell us what we can look forward to.
Yeah, today is definitely not the day to ride a scooter to work or to school. It's kind of chilly out there. Coming up in Carolina week, break out those scarves and jackets. I'll tell you how long this cold spell will last.
Come on. And it's a ball. What kind of kick was that? You've got to be kidding me.
Hey, hot shot. Sounds like you know a lot about.
You should put that to use. Come on, let's go take a jog.
There are plenty of ways that you can volunteer in your community.
Just figure out what you like to do and pass it on to others.
And you know what? You can have a lot of fun doing it too.
Pick those knees up. Keep going. Pick those legs up. Let's go. All right now, show them how to kick that ball.
To find out ways you can volunteer in your community, log on to teensvolunteer.org.
Okay, Ben, here we go, buddy.
That was great, Ben. This time, just try to kick the ball.
Do what you like to do. Volunteer.
Tick, 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 tick. Massive heat waves. Heat waves. Severe droughts. Tick, 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 tick. Devastating hurricanes. Tick, 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 tick. Our future is up to you. Tick. Go to fightglobalwarming.com while there's still time.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm student forecaster Dan McKimmey with your weather plans for the week ahead. Despite the weekend rain, we're actually going to see some dry weather over the next several days. And with that dry weather, we're also going to see a lot of sunshine too. But despite the sunshine, a cold front will be sweeping through the area and cooler conditions will be around for the next several days. Let's take a look at that satellite and radar map, and you can see a huge area of low pressure is located off towards Canada, and it's created some showers in Michigan, and some showers are stretching all the way down from New York down to Tennessee. And if we take a closer look to home, you can see these showers just off the Tennessee border. They're actually producing some snow showers in the mountains. Now, we're not going to see any snow showers here in the Carolinas, or at least in the Chapel Hill area, but we could see some clouds around and maybe a few sprinkles. But once this system passes on through, we won't see anything else but clear skies. Now, what's causing all this dry weather we're going to be having in the next several days? Well, there's actually a couple of things going on. First, we had a cold front pass through the area just yesterday. That brought some cooler and drier conditions into our area. There's another cold front, and this one means business. Behind this cold front, we have a lot of cold air and a lot of dry air, and this one's from the Arctic, so it's going to be very cold and very dry when it passes through, and you're definitely going to feel it when it comes on through. By Tuesday, the front's already sitting off the coast of the Carolinas, and by Wednesday afternoon, the front's already way out into the Atlantic, and the Carolinas, and most of the U.S. for that matter, is practically dry, but it's going to be very cold and very dry. So if you're going to be going out tonight, perhaps catching a movie, maybe getting some dinner, temperatures are going to be very cold. Overnight lows, 33 in Chapel Hill, 33 towards Duke, about 34 towards State. And tomorrow afternoon, we're going to break out into sunshine, and there could be a few clouds around, but temperatures in the afternoon only reaching the lower 50s, so very chilly despite all the sunshine we're going to be having. Now, the 4-day forecast is going to reflect that. We're going to see temperatures, for the most part, in the lower 50s on Tuesday and Wednesday. On Thursday and Friday, we warm up a little bit, but check out the overnight lows on Tuesday and Wednesday. 29 on Tuesday night, 28 on Wednesday night. So if you have any tender vegetation or plants, or maybe you want to bring in Fido, it'd probably be a good idea to bring them inside. It's going to be very chilly. And we begin that warming trend on Thursday and Friday, and that's going to continue into the weekend. And it looks like the weekend's going to be dry too. So if you guys have any outdoor plans for the weekend or this week, it looks really good.
Well, Dane, I'm not such a fan of the cold temperatures, but I am enjoying the leaves changing, and the fall temperatures aren't too bad.
Yeah, and these temperatures are more typical for December this time of year, not really October.
Well, thank you so much. Going green is an important concept, and Carborough and the community came together to celebrate the 8th anniversary of the Recyclery. The organization uses volunteers and donated parts to enable and encourage citizens to use fixed-up bicycles for their transportation. Southern Rail Restaurant hosted the celebration. Visitors made donations and ate, drank, and listened to music to support the program. After all that food, people needed to get on their bikes to burn some calories. Well, it was one heck of a weekend to be a Carolina sports fan.
Yeah, luckily we have Walter Storholt here to tell us all the highlights in sports from this weekend.
Yeah, you guys are absolutely right. A lot of big wins for Carolina. We'll talk about it all here in just a minute. Coming up in sports, we'll show you how the football team kept those Eagles from soaring and put themselves in a bowl.
Yeah. Hi, could I get a number 2 with a lemonade, please?
Could you make that a number 5 and make it a chocolate shake?
Number 5 with a chocolate shake. What are you doing?
I'm ordering for you.
No, actually, I'd like a number 2
with a chocolate shake.
With a lemonade, actually. Sir, Sorry,
cut it.
Could you please stop that?
I just wanted to order a number 5 with a chocolate shake.
I'd really like you
All
to
right,
stop
lady.
I'd like you to stop it.
No. Take a pop quiz with me. In what film did I feel a need for speed? What was my call sign?
Who did I sit behind in the F-14? Oh, and one more question. Who does your kid sit behind in homeroom?
Know what really matters. Know about your kid's school and know about your kid. Find out 100 ways to know more, do more.
Is bad air quality ruining your day? Check the Outdoor Air Quality Index before leaving home to avoid the aggravations of smog. For more information about asthma and air quality, check online or call your local health department.
The football team is officially bowl-bound, notching its 6th win this past Saturday against a gritty Boston College team. Carolina Week's Phil Mitchell takes us through all the action.
It was another rough start for the Heels on Saturday as Boston College came out firing, scooping and scoring on a Ken Sexton fumble for an early 10-0 lead. But the score and the rain couldn't dampen the spirit of the soaked fans inside Kenan Stadium. The Heels rallied around the incredible performance of junior receiver Hakeem Nicks, who started a career day with this touchdown catch. Later in the first half, the Heels would dial Nicks' number again on this touchdown bomb. Nicks would get another touchdown through the air and add this one on the ground for an amazing 4-touchdown day, surprising everyone but Nicks and his teammates.
In the walkthrough, I said, I feel like I'm going to have a career day, and they said, I told the offensive line that. And, you know, they told me, they said, let's do it.
You know, for him to go out there and do that, I'm like, hey, welcome to Hakeem's world, because, you know, he's just an unbelievable athlete. You know, he's going to keep doing that for the rest of his life.
But it was the defense who helped make life easy for the Tar Heels, keyed by 2 Kendrick Burney interceptions, including this one returned to the 1-yard line, setting up a Ryan Houston touchdown run and a 45-24 win for the Heels. This win makes the Heels bowl eligible, but the team knows it has bigger goals to accomplish.
Now we just got to keep pressing. We got to keep going, man. And, you know, it's about winning games. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to get so hung over that now we're bowl eligible. Now it's about going and trying to beat the next team.
I promise you, nobody on this football team set out with the goal. The goal wasn't 6 ever.
But 6 is a comfortable number heading into the bye week. In Chapel Hill, I'm Phil Mitchell, Carolina Week Sports.
And how nice it is that this year Carolina fans get to enjoy a good football team, but that doesn't make basketball any less exciting. Sarah Moore gives us a look at this year's basketball kickoff, Late Night with Roy.
Friday night, fans packed the Dean Dome to be the first to see what the women's and men's teams have to offer this year. The women's team was up first, showing off their modeling skills in the America's Next Top Patrol contest. Then on to some basketball. Did she just dunk? Then it was time for the main event. The men's team took the floor. Despite an injury, Martha's Vineyard was back at Late Night with Divine Noel at her side.
I missed you so much.
One thing the fans learned, Carolina now has 2 Tylers who are awkward dancers. But in his defense, Tyler Hansborough's dancing skills have improved through the years. Although the Tylers lack skills in dancing, they sure make up for it in basketball. Tyler Zeller barely has to jump to dunk. With all the starters back this year and some amazing freshmen, it looks like no other team will be able to hold a candle to Carolina when the Heels' talent explodes. In Chapel Hill, I'm Sarah Moore, Carolina Week Sports.
Late Night with Roy wasn't the only Tar Heel event in the Dean Dome Friday. A season-high crowd was in attendance for the women's volleyball match versus Clemson. After losing the first 2 games, the Tigers tried to claw their way back into the match during the third. However, the Tar Heels put on a clinic, scoring 13 of the first 16 points. UNC's Lauren Prusson shared a team-high 11 kills with Suzanne Heidel. Carolina wins the match 3-0. And the Carolina women's volleyball team won not once this weekend, but twice. The Tar Heels finished their weekend strong with a win against Georgia Tech, but it wasn't an easy one. Carolina claimed the first game with the help of Courtney Johnson and Lauren Pressing, who led the team in kills. The Yellow Jackets won the second game, but Carolina came back to win the third. Ingrid Hansen-Tutland provided the team with a number of kills and gave the Tar Heels a burst of energy along with Heather Brooks. Carolina wins the match 3-1. And the 2008 NCAC Tar Heel Invitational is in the books. With a lot of state talent competing, the meet was an opportunity for several UNC swimmers to participate in some friendly competition. UNC's Chuck Bartle won the 400 individual medley, and Britt Yakosi finished second in the women's. The Tar Heels also finished second, third, and fourth in the men's 50-yard freestyle. The main event of the meet was the 1-mile swim. UNC swimmer Chip Peterson won the race. And the fencing team rarely competes at home, opening the season with the Heels' first home meet in 4 years. Both the men and women annihilated the competition at the Mid-Atlantic Collegiate Fencing Association dual meet. That's a mouthful, losing only 5 of the 24 events. The Sabre team won at least 7 of the 9 matches against each competing school, and the Heels fencers say we haven't seen the best of them yet. And guys, it's going to be a lot of fun to see what the best of the Tar Heels is, because so many good teams out there. Football team, bowl eligible for the first time in a while, doing well. Basketball team shaping up to be as good as ever. And all the other Olympic sporting events. It's just a good year to be a Carolina fan.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed it really kind of got the community together, especially with that late night with Roy.
Yeah.
I would have loved to go on. I was out of town for that. But anyway, thank you.
Thanks so much, Walter.
Well, it's funny how things tend to come full circle.
Our forefathers used to live off the land, and now some local folks are going back to those old-time ways with new technology.
One of the most peaceful places on campus is the Forest Theater. Many great plays are held in this place of serenity. But my favorite times are when nothing at all is going on, and the colorful canopy of leaves overhead shelters you from the cares of the world. No one knows the real Carolina like a student.
The odds of a child being in a fatal automobile accident are 1 in 23,000. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 166. The odds say it's time to listen. To learn the signs of autism, visit autismspeaks.org.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
Going green is becoming something of a catchphrase. Our Carly Swain took a trip to Pickard's Mountain, where the residents are taking that catchphrase beyond recycling.
Welcome to Carborough's heartland, Pickard's Mountain. It's an ecological learning farm complete with solar panels, a lush garden, and friendly animals. The fresh smell of the earth is intoxicating.
People were very interested in being out here, that there was something sort of magical about the land that drew people.
Megan Tobin is the community manager at Pickard's Mountain. 15 people currently live here. Tobin says this sustainable farm helps those people and her own family.
We realized that there are going to have to be new models for growing food and for producing energy and for really being in community together.
The new models aren't so new, but the difference at Pickard's Mountain is that the people aren't just talking about going green, they're living those words. This windmill and these solar panels provide renewable energy for the garden and power the homes. Copper wires and the sun provide hot water year-round.
Pickard's Mountain is an ecological learning farm, which means that pigs, just like Francis, are part of a real family before they get hauled off for breakfast bacon.
Some of the best days at the farm come when school groups or parents and their children come up to visit.
There is an element of surprise at how in love children are with the natural world. And when you really allow them the time and space for that, they really show it. Thank you so much.
And they share it.
Which one?
Well, that looks like such a fun place to visit, and even to bring all the little kids and teach them about what it is to live green. And
I would have loved it. I mean, being on a farm with pigs and all that food, I'm sure I'd be picking the berries before I was supposed to. But anyway, well, thanks so much for watching. That does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Good night.